Rachel Ramsey here in the NBC4i Digital Center, back again with another episode of Columbus Business Beat. As always, joining me now is Mark Somerson, managing editor of Columbus Business First. So thank you once again for joining me, Mark.
Great to be here, Rachel. Thank you.
So again, with this, we always talk about everything business in Central Ohio and what you all are working on at Business First. So you guys have a story on Nationwide, kind of looking to convert an office tower downtown into housing. Talk a little more about those plans.
Yeah, this is for their building at 280 North High Street. It's an 18-story office tower. And as you know, during the pandemic, Nationwide sent everybody home. And then when everyone was heading back to the office, Nationwide looked at all the real estate, looked at their employees, and decided to consolidate. Some could continue to work from home. Others were being consolidated in some of their buildings. So recently, they turned to their investment or their realty arm, which is Nationwide Realty Investors. And they are looking to get this thing turned into residential, which is desperately needed downtown. This would be the third building downtown that is converted from office to residential. The first being the Continental Center. And then the PNC building that Edwards Company has converted into apartments. And now this one. Not every office building works out with the right floor print, with the right ceiling length or height, and with elevators. All of that stuff makes it really hard to turn into residential. But Nationwide Realty Investors said this one looks like it could work for them. So they've hired the engineering firm EMH and Columbus Architectural Studio to work on this. And so they're working. Back in April, Kurt Walkers, the CEO of Nationwide, said they were looking for housing opportunities downtown for some of their buildings. So his plans are starting to actually come through now.
And, will anything happen to the current businesses and offices that are currently inside this building right now?
Yeah, I believe it's empty at this point.
Oh, okay.
This was one of Nationwide's offices, and they have thousands of workers downtown, but they were able to consolidate some of the buildings, plus from work from home. So this is working out where they have some extra real estate. They have sold some of the property, and this one they want to turn into housing. So they've reached out to Nationwide Realty Investors and said, see what you can do to turn this into housing. We want to be part of the solution for the housing crisis in Central Ohio. And yeah, it's a neat plan. And I love to see when these conversions work. Again, there were a lot of hopes during and after COVID that more buildings would change from office to residential, but it just doesn't work out that often. But the third one downtown, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was going to say, it is pretty cool when you see these buildings that turn kind of residential. I think it'd be pretty cool to live in them too. So what are some other projects to kind of get more into depth with what Nationwide has worked on in Central Ohio when it comes to housing?
This may be their first one.
Okay.
I think this is their first one with a conversion from one of their buildings into housing. So they're getting into it. They own lots of property, especially the NRI owns property in and around the Arena District. I don't know if there are other plans for consolidated office buildings to be turned into this. This may be the first and only, but it's at least the first. And yeah, I don't know how long this is going to take. They're in their initial planning stages. They're working with the architecture firms to try to come up with a plan that works and make sure that the housing that goes into it is not just little boxes like offices used to be. And that's the tricky part.
Okay, well, we'll definitely have to keep an eye out on that. So kind of sticking with housing, this apartment complex called the Vera on Broad was recently sold. Tell me about that. Who bought it?
Yeah, the finance fund owns it, and they've sold it to CMHA, the Columbus Metropolitan Housing Authority. This is 114 units across two buildings right on Broad Street. It just opened up a few years ago. One of them is a historic building that's been there for a long time, and that is a 3-story building that was built in the 1920s. The second building is an 8-story building that was completed in 2023. Most of the apartments are all rented out, but they've decided to sell this. And under CMHA, they say that housing choice vouchers for those earning up to 50% of the area median income would qualify. The remaining rooms, when they become open, the units would be for people at 80% of the area median income, which is desperately needed. Downtown is an extremely expensive place to live. There have been plans for more affordable housing. Some of them have come to fruition, but prices downtown are not cheap to live. And so this is going to be an option for people who make less money but do want to live downtown. It could be closer to their friends and family. It could be close to a job. And yeah, it's really neat. On the first floor is a Cup of Joe's, so it is retail, and that's going to stay in there. And there's a 3-story garage with 128 spaces, so it's all pretty much complete over there. And it's a neat building to walk by, especially with the older building up front and then the new building behind it. It's just a neat place to look at. And I have a feeling that once units do come open, you will start seeing people with mixed income moving in.
And what are some other projects the finance fund is kind of behind in Central Ohio?
I'm not sure which ones they own other than this, but they do own some other buildings. But this was a really good idea to sell to CMHA. And CMHA doesn't only build and operate, it also purchases and looks for affordable housing opportunities for people with mixed income. And that's part of their mission, and they want to do more of this. So for them to get involved and buy this, it's going to be interesting. We don't know what the price is yet on that. We're waiting to find out through the auditor's office once that happens, but I'm sure CMHA got a pretty good deal on it.
And I know you mentioned the Cup of Joe. What other amenities are kind of included in this building?
I believe they also have the amenities that other apartments have. I believe there's a gym and there's, activity spaces and all that. I don't think there's a pool. As some of the ones downtown do have. But yeah, it's just a neat area. It's really close to the library, main library downtown. It's close to the art museum, and it's close to lots of different corridors that take you in and out of downtown.
All right. Well, I guess we'll again have to wait and see what happens with all these housing opportunities downtown. It'll be pretty cool to see. Thank you so much, Mark. And of course, we'll be back here soon. But coming up, we have NBC4 digital reporters David Reese and Ava Boldazar. They will join me to talk more about what they have been working on this past week, including another chicken chain that's coming to Central Ohio. And the city of Pickerington is looking into a designated outdoor refreshment area. We'll have all of that coming up after this break. And welcome back to Columbus Business Beat. As always, joining me now are digital reporters David Reese and Ava Boldazar, here again to talk about everything they work on. A lot of the stories they work on have to do with business-related things. And I know last week we talked about chicken. There seems to be a lot of chicken restaurants popping up in Columbus, and there's a new one coming. So I know, David, you wrote about that. What are we expecting?
Yes, we are back with some chicken news. So this is another brand. They're called Flamin' Feathers. They are based out of New Jersey, a couple locations in New Jersey, and they're now expanding into Ohio through a franchisee. So they are known for their Nashville hot chicken. And we're talking hot chicken sandwiches, tenders, wings, tacos. They're also known for their loaded fries and mac and cheese, and also some smash burgers, mozzarella sticks, milkshakes, and some other sides and desserts. So a lot of options, but yes, their Nashville hot chicken is what they're known for.
I was going to say, it sounds like they have a lot of options. Also, I love that name, Flamin' Feathers.
I know, Flamin' Feathers. Isn't that fun?
All these chicken places are getting super creative with their names. So where is this new location going to be in Ohio?
Yeah, so they are eyeing this new location to be in Lewis Center on Cameron Avenue, and this spot that was most recently a fast casual Mediterranean restaurant.
Okay.
So they've been teasing this new location for a good part of this year, and they've been saying on social media that it is coming soon.
Okay, but no official.
Yeah, no official opening date
soon.
yet. But they have said, though, when that opening date does come, they will be doing some deals either that first day or week, and we're talking about maybe 1,000 free sandwiches that we'll be giving out when the day comes.
I have to check that out then. I want to ask too, because obviously, like I said earlier, there's a bunch of different chicken places opening up across Central Ohio. So I want to ask, because obviously we all have our favorite places. What are your guys' favorite spots to go to?
I think mine probably is Hot Chicken Takeover, but I haven't really tried too many others. Mm-hmm. I know that I think Ava really likes Dave's Hot Chicken, though.
I was going to say, Ava, you're a vegetarian, so I guess it's, but they do have some places that do offer some vegetarian options. So what's yours again, Ava?
I actually also like a hot chicken takeover. They do
Okay.
have a vegetarian chicken nugget, which is really good. And I also have had Dave's Hot Chicken, and they have a fried cauliflower sandwich, which is pretty good as
Ooh,
well.
That
Oh,
sounds
that does
really
sound
good.
good.
Yeah, I've never tried Dave's Hot Chicken, right? It's like a newer one. I think that's been around. Hot Chicken Takeover, it's been a while since I've had Hot Chicken Takeover. I don't know, I think mine is Cane's still to this
Oh,
day.
I mean, obviously, Cane's is a good one. I didn't think about
love the
that.
bread. I love the cane sauce. You can't
Yeah.
go wrong with the chicken. I think a lot of people too will say Chick-fil-A is one of their favorites too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just hard for me because with the peanut oil and all that stuff, but I can still get the grilled chicken. So yeah, lots of places definitely have to keep an eye out on that. So in another news story that our digital team has worked on that we talked a lot about is Doras popping up across Central Ohio. So Ava, you worked on one talking about Pickerington, how they're kind of considering a Dora. So for those who might not know what Dora is, what is Dora?
A Dora is an area that's established by a local city council or other legislative body that essentially just provides an exception to Ohio's open container law. So what this means is that people who are 21 and older can order a drink at a participating business within the Dora's boundaries. And then they are allowed to actually leave the premises with that drink and walk around, and then you can go shopping, you can sit outside, and things like that.
Okay, so Pickerington, they're considering establishing one. So where are we at with that?
Yeah, so Pickerington's city manager has submitted an application to city council, and they are currently reviewing that. And then there is going to be a public hearing held to get residents' input next month. And from there, basically, the city council is going to vote on whether or not to establish the Dora.
And I know there's a ton of places already across Central Ohio, but like which ones exactly have Doras? Because I know we have video right now of like the downtown area. Where else we can find these?
There are a ton of Doras across Central Ohio. There is one in Hilliard, the Arena District, Gahanna, Grove City, downtown Columbus, Bexley, and the city of Reynoldsburg actually just recently, earlier this summer, established one as well.
And I was gonna say, I feel like these would be super beneficial to businesses in the area. Is there like, because obviously these businesses are serving the alcohol, is there like kind of a limit to how many businesses, or is just how can they get involved with that?
Yeah, so the businesses just essentially choose whether to participate or not. That counts for the businesses that serve the alcohol. They can decide whether or not they want to allow people to come in, buy a drink, and leave. And also other businesses that maybe, stores or non-food type businesses, they're allowed to say whether or not people are allowed to bring the drinks into their establishment as well. So it's just on what they want to do, a decision by decision basis.
Have you guys ever been to one of these areas that had Dora? I know Coshocton has one. They just recently launched one. I think, well, not recently. I think like a year or two ago. They'll have it, I think, because there's certain hours that Dora can be a thing, correct?
Mm-hmm,
okay. Yeah, because I think Coshocton, they'll have like these little summer rock concerts that are like once a month on Friday nights. And that's when they'll have some of the downtown businesses kind of either they'll have like tents out or people can go inside the restaurants and get some drinks. So I know a lot of people like that in Coshocton. Have you heard anything about, pushback from Pickerington, or like it's just kind of in those beginning stages?
Yeah, it's just kind of in the beginning stages, so I'm not sure if there's any pushback or not. That's probably something that we would find out once they hold that public meeting and residents can come in and give their input. But as far as I know, with some of the other Dora stories I've done, it doesn't seem to be anything that's too disputed by residents.
Yeah, I was going to say from what I've gathered from Coshocton, at least, a lot of people like it. David, have you ever tried out any of the Doras? Or
I feel like I've stumbled upon maybe Dublin's Dora a couple times, but no, I haven't really utilized them too much. But I feel like they are like, a fan favorite thing in various towns and cities across Central Ohio. I feel like they're growing more and more. Little communities are hoping to get their own. So
yeah, definitely have to wait and see what Pickerington's going to do. Both of you, thank you both so much for joining me once again to talk about what you guys are working on. We'll be back with Mark Somerson after this break. Welcome back. Rachel Ramsey here with Mark Somerson, joining me once again to talk more about business news across Central Ohio. Next story you guys have worked on, Mark, the city of New Albany working on a deal to buy the former Discover building that's on New Albany Road East. So what's happening with that, and why do they even want to buy this property?
Well, that's a great question. They haven't exactly told us yet, but let's go back to July 2024 when Discover moved out. This is a 333,000 square foot building. It emptied when Discover moved its customer care center into Whitehall. That opened in July 2024. Meanwhile, this huge property, it's on 49.4 acres, has been sitting empty. And I don't think there's been interest from other companies in moving in. So New Albany wants to spend $15 million on this. It's on the August 19th council agenda. I'm pretty sure it's going to get passed. They want to turn it into some sort of potential benefit to the community, is what they've told us. It's a big building. And could it be a rec center? Could it be a center for seniors? We don't know yet. Could it be offices? Could it be recreation? It's one of those that they're not there yet. But this is what they told us in a statement. We believe the site has potential to be an asset for the entire community, which has us guessing that it will be some sort of recreation center or a civic center, something for the community to get involved in. And it's on a lot of property, and it's just a huge building. So I don't know how much money they'll have to put into that. I don't know exactly what they're going to use it for. Once this gets passed, if it gets passed by the New Albany City Council, I think more plans will start to unroll. We saw it on their agenda and gave them a call to ask them about it, and it's still in those planning stages. So I think the first step is for the council to approve it, the $15 million to get moved over, and then, we'll see some plans rolling out. But it's kind of exciting when a city takes over something like that to see what they can do. And New Albany has all sorts of stuff going on over there. And they already do have a lot of community things, but they see this as an opportunity to take an empty building on a huge piece of property and turn it into something that everybody can use.
Now, I don't know if you already mentioned it, Mark, but who currently owns the building?
I don't know if Discover leased it or if they own it. I'm not sure who the owner is. It hasn't got that far at this point. Once the sale is approved and the money changes hands, we'll be able to see who owns that property. We have not looked that up yet.
And I'm really curious because, like you mentioned, New Albany already has a bunch of stuff. So I'm interested to see what exactly we're going to do with it because, the building is huge. If you take a look at it, the possibilities are endless with that.
Yeah. I have a lot of ideas for it. Of course, indoor putt-putt, but they haven't asked my opinion on this one yet. And once they do, I'll give them all sorts of ideas. Could be a water theme park. Yeah. I don't know. Something. It's huge. But it's right there, and it's sort of primed for some sort of development, whether they turn that into something that's a community center. Upper Arlington, of course, just built their huge community center. I don't know what the footprint of this building looks like on the inside, if it'll be something that's easily converted or if they'll tear the whole thing down and start over again. That hasn't really come out yet. But just to own the property, $15 million.
And I was going to ask, I don't know if you know, I'm never in the New Albany area that much. Do they already have a recreation center?
I believe they have a different community center, but I'm not sure if there's anything as large as this or if they have plans to do more with it.
Okay. Well, I'm, again, curious to see what they're going to do with that. Yeah. So our last story for today, Marino Seafood Fish and Chips is reopening after closing earlier this summer. So first off, why did Marino's even close in the first place?
Well, it's kind of a sad story. Sort of happy, sort of sad. It depends on whose perspective you're looking at. We talked with the owners a month ago, and they told us we are going to be closing after all these years. And it's been around since a long time ago. It became in the 1980s. It went from an Arthur Treacher's restaurant, which opened in 1969. It was founded in Columbus, which a lot of people don't know. At one point, they had 800 restaurants. Very, very popular. The owners, in the 1980s, it became Marino's when Arthur Treacher's moved out. They kept the signage. It still looks like an original Arthur Treacher's. And then a family bought it in 1991, and they've been running it since, a husband and wife. And they told us in June they were finally retiring. They had really never taken any time off from work. They were going to retire, and they said Arthur Treacher's, which basically is down to 3 stores up in the Cleveland area, were going to take over that space. It was really huge news. People were excited for an old brand like Arthur Treacher's to come back to Columbus. Something happened in between, though. And when we went back and talked with the owners, they said they're reopening on August 20th. and that they're going to be running it again. They got a few weeks off for their retirement, but something happened. Either Arthur Treacher's backed out of the deal that they had made, or decided the timing wasn't right, and maybe this will come down the road. But for now, it's going to stay at Marino's. And yeah, it's the same recipes and menu that they have used for years. So really, it's not changing much except for that brief closure.
And I'm surprised that something, I mean, this is good news for Marino's, but we're surprised to hear with the whole Arthur Treacher's, because we even did a story at NBC4 too about how it was going to become an Arthur Treacher's and how they were planning on kind of doing this expansion. So again, you guys have got no word on what exactly happened with this deal. Just
no. Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, it is good news for the people in that neighborhood who really like Marino's. I don't know if it's good news for the owners who are looking forward to retirement and now are going back behind the counter to continue working with customers. So I think it'll be interesting to see how long it stays in Marino's, whether Arthur Treacher's is going to expand like they originally said. I mean, the owner of Marino's was very insistent that this was happening. So I think something must have happened that fell through. But yeah, Marino's stays Marino's, and Arthur Treacher stays a few hours away up in Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people in that area will definitely be happy about going back to Marino's. Have you ever tried Marino's or had Marino's?
No,
I haven't either. I haven't either. Growing up in Coshocton, the only fish and chips place that we had was a Long John Silver's. Which,
ooh, fancy.
So that's it. I've never had that. Never had Arthur Treacher's either.
I remember Arthur Treacher's. I was 4 when they opened their first store up. So yeah, it's been a long time. I probably ate there in the 70s was the last time. So it's been a long, long time.
Yeah, Arthur Treacher's was a little before my time, and I never got to try it. Honestly, I never even heard of Arthur Treacher's or Marino's until I came to Columbus.
Arthur Treacher is a real person. He was an actor.
Oh,
yeah.
Did not know that.
There you go. A little trivia for you.
Well, Mark, thank you so much again for joining me with talking about everything with Columbus and business. Of course, that's going to do it for this episode of Columbus Business Beat. As always, the show is produced in partnership with Columbus Business First and is available to watch in multiple places. So each week, the program will premiere at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday on the NBC4 Columbus streaming channel. The app is also available for download on smart TVs with Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. The latest episode will also be available for watching on demand. That's under the featured shows section. The program will be available the following Mondays for additional viewing on NBC4i.com and on NBC4's YouTube channel. Of course, for more information, you can visit NBC4i.com/stream. And of course, for more information about Columbus Business First and how you can subscribe, just go to columbusbusinessfirst.com, or you could scan that QR code that's on your screen right now. We'll see you here next week on the NBC4 Columbus streaming channel.